Hello and welcome to my latest weekly property news from Madison's. Well, it was all over the news headlines this weekend about the possible reintroduction of the Help to Buy scheme. Now, the Help to Buy scheme for over 7 years helped first-time buyers get on the property ladder. It basically, there were caps on how much the property price was in certain areas, but here in the southeast it was about 437,000 at the end of its days. But basically it meant that as long as a first-time buyer had a 5% deposit, they could borrow up to 20% outside of London, 40% from inside London with a government-backed equity loan, which meant that the lenders felt more comfortable. If you've got a higher deposit, they've got more margin if something goes wrong and they have to repossess to recover their debt. So that government-backed loan meant that first-time buyers had a bigger deposit. They had to do it on new properties, only new properties. And it was wound down at the end of October 2022. You had to complete by the end of March 2023, but there has been growing pressure for something to be reintroduced to help first-time buyers get on the market. So Rishi Sunak this weekend has been talking about reintroducing a £29 billion scheme to help first-time buyers with that. It's a tricky one. One of my concerns about it was it only ever looked at the new build property, and new build properties have a premium in them anyway. So that was a bit of a challenge, and also it will not help inflation at all. If you have got a limited supply of housing stock and you suddenly give a boost of more money into the economy, then inflation prices will rise. So you need to have a correlating new level of stock coming to market to help that. And of course, one way they could address that would be to re-incentivise developers and to get local plans going again with targets to build in new properties and making sure there's lots of properties within that's built for first-time buyers. So watch this space. It's a real election grabber. That's why they're all coming out with it at the moment, looking to win over votes. So we'll see what happens over the coming months. Well, one thing I just thought I'd talk about briefly. A lot of people, when I'm dealing with buyers, they say to me, can you tell me how much the offer is made on that property? And we can't. The reality is most of the properties that we sell are done by private treaty. That means that it's a closed process. The only person I'm allowed to give information to is obviously my seller, my client. And if a buyer wants to know how much an offer has been for, until it gets to exchange, once it's exchanged, you are allowed to divulge. But until exchange, you basically have to have the written permission of your seller to reveal the level of the bids. And a lot of buyers get quite confused about it. There's 3 other ways you can sell a property, but that is the most common way in our country. The other ways you can do it auction. That's very common in Australia, where properties go under the gavel. Obviously there it's completely open, everyone can see what's happening. And there is now the modern method of auction, which is whereby a price is advertised on the internet and you watch it, almost like eBay really, where you can watch a property price going. It might have a long period of time where you can place your bids, or there might be a closed period, like as if you were almost sitting in an auction room and you can bid and rise it up. So there's more growing popularity of that. And then you can have informal and formal tender. So formal tender is when you you advertise a property, you set a deadline and you say submit bids by this certain deadline, you invite bids. Informal tender is what is more commonly sealed bids in my industry, where you've had a lot of interest in a property, you've got more than one interested party, you need to sort it out one way or the other, so you open a sealed bids process. That's informal tender, where you weren't expecting to go that way, but you do because of the nature of the way it goes. So yes, so next time you ask an agent, can you tell me how much it went for? And they say no, they're not being difficult, they're just not allowed to under the rules of private treaty, which is what most properties are sold by. So I thought I might just introduce that for you. Well, we have got 3 lovely properties up on the Moat Farm area at the moment. I would encourage you to look at those. They're all arranged around the million, slightly below, slightly above, depending on size of accommodation, presentation, plot, etc. But it's a great, great area to live on. It's the south side of the town, they're very, very popular. And you get a lot of house for your money, a really good solid family home, real family community in that area, and all walking distance to the town. So we've got 3 great properties there. Do have a look at those. As I say, all sitting around the million mark. I've got offers on nearly all of them at the moment, so you need to be quick if you like them. The market is fine. And of course, finally, just to end, it is the King's coronation this weekend. We have dressed our offices. We've got our Union Jacks up and red, white and blue flowers, as you'd expect. And yeah, the Royal Tunbridge Wells together have produced a really great map. Do head over to their website to have a look at it. It's the wonderful Elaine Gill, her beautiful artwork, and there is so much going on. You've got live screenings of the coronation, arts and crafts, shows, music. It's a real festival atmosphere, and lots of street parties. Over 300 street parties evidently going on this weekend. So have a great weekend. Do use that map. We've got to support these things that our wonderful town puts together for us. But I hope you have a lovely long weekend again next weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.